sharp as we age, and that could explain the recent proliferation of brain games and puzzles. Experts say there's a lower-tech way to do it, though. Learn to play a musical instrument. This is ABC News.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Termbusters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, like some editing, transition, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei.
It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala.
Hoo-ah!
You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Yeah, and you lose, you still win. And when you win, sometimes you lose. But one guy that hasn't lost, and now, by all accounts, could be hanging it up, is City Councilman Lame Duck. I love to use that word duck when I mention to this guy. Daniel Owen, who joins us on the program. Daniel, welcome back.
How's it going, buddy? That's lame Muscovy for me.
Yeah, I know. And there's no truth to the rumor you've written a new song called Okie from Muscovy.
Exactly. I'm just a little depressed. I was out there in the parking lot listening to this segment before, getting ready to come in, and a little frustrated to know that I got to go home and turn the air off and put my clothes back on, or I'm going to have a nightmare tonight. So,
but at least if you sleep naked, you'll boost your confidence. Well, we got a lot to cover in a short period of time. Let's get on it right now. And what have you been up to, first of all?
We've been traveling a lot. Business has been good. My day job that I talk about, that I do every now and then, from aside from the politics, but been traveling. I have a pretty extensive travel schedule that I've been. So I've been doing that, and then just finishing up, trying to follow through some things at City Council. As you know, made the announcement back beginning of summer. So I've got I think
front page story.
I got four meetings.
There. Cover boy.
I'm got about four more meetings left. City Council meetings. So
4.
We'll be dialing those in here the next October, November, and then first meeting in December, I will step down and walk out of City Hall. So it's been a long 12 years.
Well, I have to ask you the question. What's next?
Well, what's next is I'm going to take a breather, at least for a year. Just kind of just step aside and let some of the things that we put in motion, I think, hopefully continue to just sort of prosper and go through. I think Ocala's in a good place. We're seeing a rebound on a lot of stuff. As you know, buddy, in the article for the downtown neighbors, of just, it's always good every now and then just kind of sit back and just kind of take stock and see what's happened and how things have changed in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And we look at the FedEx that's going to start its construction here very soon. The roads are getting in, the infrastructure's out there about to be done. So we look at that. That was not here 10 years ago. That's an exciting thing to know that now in the city of Ocala, we've got 4,000 acres of industrialized property on the interstate to where we can get these types of things. So it's exciting to have been a part of that, working with the county and at the city, and kind of seeing, quite honestly, as I wrote in the article, seeing all of a sudden it's kind of a neat thing or a cool thing or the thing to do from an elected standpoint is to really push an economic development for our community. I mean, you can only go to the beach so much. You can only play so much. Every now and then you got to break down and do some work. And so it's great to see this community embracing it. We're starting to grow and just being that economic hub. I mean, the council back in January in our strategic session, we said our number one pillar that we want to do is the city of Ocala needs to be the economic hub of Marion County. And so as I leave, I'm excited where we're at. I mean, and excited what we've got. But a new council is going to come in. We'll see where they go, and we'll see what happens. But for me personally, I'm going to step aside and just sort of get back to a normal life, if you will. My son Riley was 4 years old. Buddy, when I got a picture, he was holding the Bible. When I got sworn in, he was 4, and now he's 6'4", and staring me down.
And 38 years old. No, I'm just kidding.
And 38 years old. He'll be 16. His birthday is the day before my last meeting. The day before that will be his 16th birthday.
Playing golf for the Wildcats.
So he's doing that. They're actually in a match today. So when I leave here, I'm going to head back up. They're playing Lake Weir. They got Forest and Lake Weir today. He's got a little grudge match going on out at Muni. So going to
be sure and say hello to my grandnephews.
I will do that.
Level boys.
Yep, they're out there. They've been doing good. So they got a good little team. So they're out there right now at taking on Lake Weir. They just team on 4 o'clock, so it's good stuff.
But I'm going to let Tom ask the question because he was anxious to ask it a while ago, and I said, well, wait, Daniel gets on the air. I said something about what's next. Now he wants to ask you directly.
Well, if it's more of this sleeping in cold room naked, I'm gonna refuse to answer.
The rumor mill, as you know, there's 3 forms of communication: telephone, telegraph, tell somebody in Ocala, and the rumor mill will start. The rumor mill is that we don't have a representative in the state government from Marion County.
Oh, wait a minute, now we have a representative. We don't have a sitting senator.
A sitting senator, right? From Marion County, representing Marion County. Is there any chance you'll run for state senate?
Well, first I think they would have to get a seat in Marion County.
They don't have one.
They don't have one. That takes some maneuvering in and of itself right there, and that would be interesting. I mean, it would be quite honestly. I would probably say no right now because I still think there's some things to do locally, and I think if we have a strong Marion County, then we can have a just as good of a voice in Tallahassee by being strong here, and moving that forward. So hopefully, we need a senator. We know from our history we've had a governor, and we go back to Governor Bryant. But that's why I know I wasn't around. I was around. You were around, and we have this little interstate that's about a mile sitting right to the west of us that he had a lot to do with, and those things do matter, and having a voice there. So, but I think you would see some, Mr. Baxley, has got quite a career in Tallahassee.
He may be running for. He may be trying to become the next senator too.
Yep, there's going to be rumors about him. Yep, there's really a good core of people who really love this community. Larry Creedle, obviously, was a Speaker of the House in Tallahassee, county commissioner, worked his way through and did a lot of great things for Marion County, both locally at an elected level and from a state standpoint. So right now, that'd be a hard question to. Right now, I'd have to say no.
He dodged it. He didn't ask the other part. Doesn't like you don't get him to dodge very often, do you? By the way, but the other part he didn't ask was, what about a state representative job?
State representative is. The same thing.
Is there a stepping stone in between somewhere?
I want to know, buddy, and I know that we may get it before I leave for today, and we all see the news of Silver Springs. I want to know where the disconnect is.
That's what I want to know.
There's a major disconnect from a local level to the state level somewhere.
Right.
Somebody's not carrying the water. Somebody's not toting the best for Marion County. This is just me talking and throwing it out there. But the Springs is a great example, I think, and not just to solely focus on the Springs, but that is a great example of a huge economic ecotourism. That is just a huge thing for Marion County that started off with a lot of fervor, and it got muted big time. And I think there's a lot of questions out there as to why and who was carrying the water for us. And all of a sudden, and I'm telling you, I can speak from experience, but we've had a great delegation. Evelyn Lynn that served over in Daytona, and she termed out, but she did a tremendous job. And Dennis Baxley has been there. We've got some good representation. We've had a good delegation.
Charlie Dean's done a lot of work for us.
Charlie Dean is, and we've had a good delegation, but at times it makes you have to scratch your head and say, when there's things that they go silent on, you just have to wonder.
Yeah, radio silence is curious there, and I don't mean this radio. Is that I had a guy tell me today that he's experienced with this kind of things. He said, you always know there's an RFP or whatever put out on something, and you know when there's jobs available, there's construction available, or projects available for the county and the state. And this guy who's been hooked into that said, I missed that one. I don't know how that all happened. I'm not sure what happened. So there is a disconnect. I don't know what is going on here, but you and I have shared this vision of Silver Springs for a long time. And although I can't say I was on top of it, I did meet with a group, about 15 times of people who were all passionate about it and came up with a plan, which was never apparently looked at. And I'm not saying it was for anybody in the group to get it. Just apparently if it was looked at, it wasn't looked at enough and didn't even give us the time of day, as far as I know, although the county commissioners did know about the plan and did kind of sign off on it. It never got to Tallahassee. It never got there.
Exactly.
And I don't know why. Anyway, that's another story.
There's a disconnect. Yeah, no story. So, yeah, as where that goes is a voice. Are you able to be more effective at a local level? Are you more effective to be able to be in Tallahassee and do all of that?
Yeah,
so I would tend to lead toward being more effective just locally.
Yeah.
And, for me, as quiet and shy as I am up there at a public meeting anyway. So
yes, you are. You're the wallflower.
Who knows? So we'll see where it all ends.
Well, I'm curious to talk about your article and that you wrote in Downtown Neighbors, and talk about, you say, are we there yet? And let's talk about some of those projects you mentioned in your article, what's realistic, what's not. You have to have a vision, you have to have a dream, and then there's the rubber meets the road, and how do you get it going?
Correct.
So that's my question for you. We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk with we still call him Councilman right now for the next 8 weeks. Constable Daniel Owen is our guest. The Straw, back after this timeout on
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source. Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. Two teams going in two different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against double tough 3-1 Leesburg.
That's right, Tom James. Looks like a game on paper that Leesburg should win easily.
We'll see. Friday night, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 kickoff.
Right here on the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, presented by the McDonald Allstate Agency.
WOCA, The Source.
Since 1976, Daniel L. Hightower, a lawyer, has been fighting for accident victim justice in North Central Florida and statewide. He believes everyone in America should follow the rules, including the insurance companies. He and his firm have experience fighting for victims of personal injury, wrongful death, workers' compensation, and Social Security disability, as well as serving those in need of help with bankruptcy, simple wills, and estate plans. The mission at the law offices of Daniel L. Hightower, PA, is to represent deserving clients and recover the maximum benefits they are entitled to by law in a timely manner. In personal injury and workers' compensation cases, there are no fees or costs unless a recovery is made. The law office of Daniel L. Hightower is located at 7 East Silver Springs Boulevard, Suite 300. For your free consultation, call 352-629-7777 or 1-888-LAW-1976 and visit danhightower.com for more information. Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice, and the proud sponsor of Ask the Cops.
This reprise of Ask the Cops is proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, PA lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. This is Marion County Sheriff Chris Blair's answer to a question posed by Buddy Martin.
If I had to rank top three types of crimes that you're dealt with, after drugs, what are the other two or three that you guys would say take up most of your resources and your time?
Well, number one, certainly drugs is what's leading all crime. With the exception of homicide, where you may have a domestic violence type case and the husband kills the wife or vice versa. The ones that take time are the burglaries, the thefts, all the burglaries.
That reprise of Ask the Cops was proudly brought to you by Daniel L. Hightower, lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. Be sure to tune in to Ask the Cops the second and fourth Friday of every month during the 4 o'clock hour on the Voice of Ocala.
WOCA. On the next AM Ocala Live, Robin and I will be speaking to David Foreman, also known as the herbal pharmacist. He's coming on to tell us how to recognize the signs that are draining your body of energy and how we can offset those effects.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite-sized.
And then Jim George will be in the studio from American Cable Services. He'll be telling us what we can do to make our home entertainment systems bigger, better, and brighter.
Samantha Nevels is a spokesperson for the Consumer Electronics Association. She'll be speaking about the evolution of our audio devices.
And then it's Ocala Magazine Radio with your host, Kelly Hart.
Lawrence Silver is an attorney. He will be speaking about the book, The Girl, A Life in the Shadow of Roman Polanski. It's a memoir by Samantha Geimer.
And then Joy Katzen-Guthrie is coming on. She's a Tampa Bay cantorial leader and a recording artist as well as a concert performer. She's going to be performing in our area. She's talking about the Shirat Hainfest, the Jewish Spirit and Song concert happening Sunday, October 13th. All of that plus Fun with Joe right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Now is the time to take advantage of Florida Credit Union's CD specials. Our 36-month CD comes in at 1.26% APY. A 24-month is working for you at 1.0% APY. And our 12-month at 0.75% APY. All CD rate specials require $10,000 minimum. With friendly service and low rates like these, it's not hard to see why Florida Credit Union has your CD options covered. Florida Credit Union, connecting your money to your life. Call 352-237-8222 for more information.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram, CEO of Gateway Bank, inviting you to drop by our main office on Silver Springs Boulevard every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for the Community Gazette, a 3-hour show focusing on our favorite community to live and work, Ocala, Marion County. Come join us with the voice of Ocala, Buddy Martin, in the new old-fashioned bank radio studio as we discuss a variety of interesting topics on the Community Gazette on WOCA The Source.
Bottle of whiskey, sleeping tablets by his head.
All right, hand me one of those magazines. You can't have them all. I just want one so I can refer to it. By the way, Daniel Owen's been on this show. I think, did we do total up people? I think maybe more than anybody, probably. What's this, about your 15th appearance here at least?
It could be.
At least over 2 years.
The first year we had this show, he was on the first 6 months every week.
JJ, y'all going to have to tighten up. If I'm the leading guest, y'all got to tighten up. Y'all got to raise the level.
Well, we
raise
have
the show.
Just our homeboys we like. So I don't even call you a guest.
JJ,
I just call you a good friend of ours.
JJ says you're his boy.
Our guests are like, phoners.
Yeah, I don't believe Kent Gwynn or Daniel Owen should be considered a guest of the show. They're part of the show.
Well, let me say this about it. This is why you're on. As Spurrier said to his football coaches when he hires them, here's the reason you're on the staff. You're cheap and you're available.
Exactly. And when you're on location at Grinders, you got Kent at least for an hour. So.
Yeah, so it's good to have you on the show. But you walk in the door and Patsy, who's she's our gatekeeper there. She's seen you come and go a lot, and she said that guy who comes in here all the time, who's on the show, he left. He went over there. And she said, what does he do? And I thought, of all the times we've had you on the show, I don't know if maybe we referred to it, but I don't remember if we've actually talked about, you say your day job, but you never say what the day job is.
And we talk about economic development, as I talk about a lot, buddy, but right here, and again, in little old city of Ocala, there is quite the fire industry mecca. I'm in the fire industry. Pro Poly of America, we're 21-year-old company, manufacture water tanks for fire trucks and truck bodies for fire trucks. And right here with and a lot of it, with E1 going all the way back to the days of Bob Werbser in 1974, 75. But right here, there are corporate headquarters of at least 5 that I know of, major players in the fire industry, every one of them in the city limits of the city of Ocala.
Really?
Yes. E1, Class 1, Hale moved their headquarters from Pennsylvania just last fall. we're here, Pro Poly of America, our corporate headquarters. And so, Ocala Fab, which they're huge into the fire industry. And it's another one of those little, I always talk about horsepower of a different kind, because I know we're the horse capital of the world and everybody wants to get all, we're the horse capital of the world. But manufacturing has a huge presence in Marion County and the city of Ocala proper. I mean, we've just got a huge manufacturing sector here that a lot of people I don't think ever realize. So I know E1 does tours. If anybody's out there listening, ever want to just go watch a fire truck be built, go to the front door. They'll give tours. I mean, you can go in and watch a fire truck be built, and they're getting shipped all over the world. Matter of fact, we're delivering a truck tomorrow to Savannah that's going on a boat headed to South Korea.
Wow.
So
international,
big time. So yeah, I'm in the fire industry, and it's a neat little industry. So
you've always said that, as you said, horsepower of a different kind is the most overlooked part of our industry and our commerce is our manufacturing.
Yes.
And you keep pointing out all these companies. You took me out one day. Let me show you this plastic plant. We drove out there and looked at it. You made us aware of these facts. One of the things, Daniel, I like about you, and I say this in all candor, is that you're not afraid to speak with pride about your community and to point out the strength, and you're knowledgeable about that. One of the things that concerns me about our community, I'll just be real honest with you. I mean, I have to do a civic lesson every day to learn. I've learned a lot from you, just listen to you, and I don't know much. But I got to say, I don't know much. I know a lot more than a lot of people do. And I wonder if we're paying attention. If we're paying attention to what's going on in our community. There are a lot of things happening, or is it that we're just not doing a good job of communication with public officials? I don't know. There's something there that, there needs to be a listing post, which we hope the show would be, to tell you what's going on, what's happening.
I'll tell you, for the national presence that Marion County has in a lot of things, and yes, this horse capital of the world, and we talk about that, but a little tidbit, that I'll tell you, in Marion County, do you know for a fact that I can tell you that for every dollar that is paid in payroll to the agriculture sector in Marion County, there's $4 paid to manufacturing. Okay, 4 times bigger than agriculture. But we're the horse capital of the world, and so that's fine. And this kind of maybe gets into, I'm sure somebody's out there listening, and you're probably getting ready to get offended, folks. So
wouldn't be the first time.
Either turn the radio off or slow down and sit down and get ready to call in.
Yeah.
But I think we have this tendency to live in a bubble in Marion County. I travel a lot, buddy. I know you've been all over this country, and we get out, and I always have to chuckle. I love my hometown. I love Ocala. Born right here in Monroe Regional, and we have such potential. And it's not that we're not doing good things, and we are, but it's this sort of self-realization and this sort of patting on our back of really having a presence globally. I mean, absolutely. Talk about, when we look at FedEx coming here, I mean, how much bigger do you have to get than FedEx zeroing in on Cisco at the time had done Walmart? And so we got all of these things where people zero in on Ocala, but marketing that, and we sort of sometimes, I notice when we get out and you have to look back into Marion County and chuckle because we kind of pull the sheets up over our heads sometimes around here, and we think we live in this bubble, and we've got to reinvent the wheel around here sometimes. And then people, and quite honestly, and I'm not anybody special, but like you said, for $200 a month, they don't pay me enough to keep my mouth shut, so I'm going to go ahead and talk. And we sort of get in this political realm around here where we get caught up in what's going on in Washington, and we get caught up on what's going on in Tallahassee, and we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen in Marion County. And we're so scared of what's going on in Washington that we circle the wagons in Marion County. And the reverse side of that is all of a sudden nothing gets done because we've got people who are running for campaigns and they're running for elections and their job interviews. They're not coming out with a vision. They're not coming out with a plan. They're not coming out trying to sell Marion County. They're looking for a job. All right, and they're looking for it's like showing up with a resume. I got a resume, and here's what it'll do. You're the employer, the voter. I think you want to hear this, so this is what I'm going to say. And I think you want to hear this, so this is what I'm going to say. And I just tell people, look, folks, this is what it is. Let's look at what we've got around here, and let's sell ourselves. Let's be excited about ourselves. And it's all over. And we continue to open this door. Look at the villages. The villages didn't exist 20 years ago, and now it does. And it's a lot of people that didn't live here that now call this place home. All right, so why stop that kind of stuff? But at the same time, the villages is not going to be able to carry us. It's going to be economic development. It's going to be FedEx. It's going to be Phil. Imagine, buddy, that 4,400 acres. If we had a ribbon cutting tomorrow and it was full and there was zero vacancy, in that industrial park up there on the interstate, you know how many people would be working? Do you know how many? I mean, you're talking literally thousands of people working on one site, and yet it was so hard to drag people across to that. And the people of, why are you doing that? 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 And we become our own worst enemy. That we have this political philosophy around here. We're a Republican county, and I'm a registered Republican, and we've got all of this excitement and less government and less taxes. You see it battling out with the county commissioner and the sheriff right now. All of this stuff, and people get all fired up. And let's be careful that we do. I just challenge Marion County to say, don't be so focused on what's going on in Washington that you circle the wagons and you end up with nothing being done in your own hometown.
You know, it's so funny you said that. And in a strange sort of way, I'm going to surprise you by telling you. If you read the story about the Pope recently and what he said about the Catholic Church, he said, we're so caught up in these hot political issues like contraception, gay rights, et cetera, that we're losing sight of what the church is about, which is winning souls.
Yep.
And in a way, your political philosophy just freezes you up where you can't get to the next level because you're so caught up, like you say, with all those people in Washington. You know, they're ruining my business or whatever. You're exactly right. I mean, I like people who just say, let's take the bull by the horns. Let's get the job done here. I don't care what party you belong to. It doesn't matter. You've always told me all politics are local and without party. Really, there's not a party involved. We all want this county to succeed. We want the economy to improve. We want jobs. We want, and we may have to raise taxes to take care of services. That's a dirty word. I know that. But the fact is, if you're doing good business and you got your economy pumped up, you got the tax dollars, and that brings us to the point of how important certain things are, like Silver Springs, like minor league baseball, where you proposed a long time ago on this show that there should be a 0.5-cent sales tax devoted to things like Silver Springs, the horse park, and a stadium to bring the Yankee Minor League franchise here. Speak to that, would you?
Yeah, and when you look at whether it's good or bad or whatever indifferent, I can tell you, look at the little situation right now going on with the county and the sheriff's department.
What happened? Is it just a fact of the political bedside manner? Is that what it is?
We're a huge landmass county. I mean, think about go get in your car up in New Springs, okay, and drive to Dunellen. Right, huge county. Yeah. So it's a huge county for a sheriff, for a fire department, for any emergency service to cover. We just landmass.
You got to get on your horse to go for town. Yeah, you got a long way. Yeah,
you got a lot of stuff going on. And so, but the same people that will sit there and show up to a political rally about less government, less taxes, sure as heck don't mind calling 911. And if we got to get to a point to where we don't have any money to take care of that 911, then just be like going to Publix and ordering a 1/2 pound of smoked turkey. Take a number, okay? We'll get to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't settle. Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? I pay my tax. At some point, there's got to be a leveling off. At some point, there's got to be an understanding of this is what it costs to be able to run a county. This is what it costs to be able to run these services. Now, some people and we've talked about this, but I know there are 190,000 registered voters that live in the unincorporated areas of Marion County. There's only 35,000 that live inside municipalities.
That's 17% or something?
Yeah, it's terrible. But I'm going to tell you, and this is something that it gets me going. For a Republican county, we are absolutely run, and we take a little party shot here. We just talk about circling the wagons. There is a lot more of other people's money that goes to running this county in sort of that, if you would have called it a democratic fashion of we want services but we don't want to pay for it. Yeah. Just let the municipalities take care of it.
Democratic, isn't it?
It's very I want something for nothing.
I'm Republican except here.
I'm Republican until I need something. All right, and then sure, I'll take anybody else's money that you want to.
So what are you saying, Daniel? I live in the county, so I'm freeloading.
Listen, absolutely. I mean, that's just a given.
That's really what's happening. I mean, to be honest, you're saying that in grand terms, but that happens a lot where the municipalities are picking up the totals that I live in the county. I should, and all the taxpayers like me, we should help with that money too. Not saying we don't want to do that, but it still gets done. And I'll give you a prime example. The sheriff, at times when he don't have an officer that can go back up one of his officers on the call, City of Ocala Police Department goes and backs up that call in the county. That's the city paying for county to have us people who live in the county to have protection.
Yeah, and ultimately, though, I mean, there's people, buddy, you live in the city, I live in the city. There's just things that people don't mind paying for to live in the city. I mean, people who live in the city of Ocala, live in the city of Bellevue, live in Dunellen.
Police protection, fire protection, I don't mind at all.
They just, you know what? I like the city atmosphere. I like it. Now, there's people who like to live, out in the county, and that's their choice because that's what they like. When I liken it to animal control. When there's a nuisance animal in the city, or when there's a call into animal control inside the city, it's a nuisance. When there's a call into animal control in the county, it's dinner. I mean, there is a difference, okay? And yet the science, I think, becomes in pulling all that together to realize that there is a value in having people who live in the upper unincorporated areas, but there is at the same time value in the municipalities, and there's value in the fact that we've got this, thank goodness we've got the I-75 running right through the heart of Marion County. It brings a lot of people through this county. Right now, as we sit just on this show, but you ought to think about the traffic counts from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock of people that just drive right through on this interstate is staggering.
All tuned to this show as we speak.
They're
right
all
now.
Tuned in, listening right now. Folks, pull off, spend some money. We'd love to have you.
Come out to the Fast Mall.
we need your money. No, it's just we got a great place here, buddy, and I just hope that we can get beyond the politicizing that we do locally.
Yeah, I agree.
Police and fire protection. I don't care what's going on in Washington. We need to have a great community, and we can fix it right here. And maybe the way to fix Washington, and maybe the way to fix Tallahassee, is if you first build a strong community, and then you say, look here, this is how it's done in Marion County. I mean, what's wrong with setting the standard?
Sounds like a political speech to me.
I don't know.
I like it. You got my vote.
You and Mom, so it's 2-0.
It's like our listeners, Oh, there's one more. We got one more.
Got one more.
By the way, and I know you got to go, but if you can stay for a couple more minutes, would you be willing to explain to me your position on the sheriff versus city council, county commission, in terms of, would you be willing to, because you are the straw, and just enlighten me, because I kind of don't quite understand it. I know there's issues about money and about fighting back and forth and who's right and who's wrong, but I'd like you to give me your thoughts on that if you don't mind.
Sure.
Daniel Owen, the straw, he'll do that next right here on the Voice of Ocala.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Learning to read is more important now than ever for our young children. The Reading Pals program of Marion County pairs up reading mentors with struggling kindergartners and helps them get up to speed in their most important years. But they need volunteers. If you'd like to be a Reading Pal, call Jan Hathaway at the United Way at 732-9696. That's 732-9696. Be a Reading Pal today.
Dr. Seaborn Hunt, a board-certified ophthalmologist, is your comprehensive medical, laser, and surgical eye care specialist for Marion, Lake, and Sumter counties. He offers services for cataract surgery, diabetes, glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, as well as a routine comprehensive eye exam. Call 873-7200 for an appointment today. No referral needed. Dr. Hunt accepts Medicare as well as most insurance plans and files the claims for you. Dr. Hunt has performed thousands of successful procedures. Call Dr. Hunt at 873-7200. That's 873-7200.
Dry, itchy, scaly skin? Do you have psoriasis? Consider joining our research study. Renstar Medical Research in Ocala is conducting a research study evaluating the effectiveness of investigational combination of 2 study medications for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. You may qualify if you're between the ages of 18 and 75 and have been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis for at least 6 months. For more information, please call Renstar in Ocala at 352-629-5800. Qualified participants may receive study-related medical care and study medication. Compensation for time and travel may also be provided. To find out more information about this psoriasis study, please call Renstar Medical Research at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Life may not come with guarantees, but buying your next vehicle from Ford Lincoln of Ocala sure does. Start with their 7-day new vehicle price guarantee. If you find the identical new Ford or Lincoln vehicle anywhere else for less, Ford Lincoln of Ocala will refund you 110% of the difference. That's guaranteed. In the market for a quality pre-owned vehicle? Buy with confidence with Ford Lincoln of Ocala's 30-day pre-owned exchange policy. That's guaranteed. Ford Lincoln of Ocala's goal is to make buying your next vehicle fun, simple, fast, and guaranteed. Shop Ford Lincoln of Ocala today on North Highway 441, open 7 days a week, or shop at home at FordofOcala.com. A 7-day new vehicle price guarantee, a 30-day pre-owned vehicle exchange policy. That's buying with confidence. That's buying from Ford Lincoln of Ocala. That's guaranteed. Ford Lincoln of Ocala reserves the right to verify quotes, advertise prices, 30-day pre-owned exchange policy, or 1,000 miles from date of purchase. Does not apply to vehicles sold as is. See dealer for complete details.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Phoenix Promotional Solutions, your company supplier of banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Where you give them approved artwork by noon, the next day by 4 p.m., you pick up your banners, digital decals, yard signs, and magnetic signs. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404. That's 368-2404. Don't forget, they do vehicle wraps also. Phoenix Promotional Solutions, 368-2404.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
You're back on the Voice of Ocala. Remember, coming up in the sports hour, it's Around the Water Cooler with Buddy Martin and the whole gang. Plus, there's news about Bud Selig in Major League Baseball. We'll bring all that to you, plus the latest on Dominic Easley in the sports hour. But now back to Buddy Martin.
All right, thank you, Tom. I want to get back to the sheriff and the Stan McLean, Chris Perry, Stan McLean issue. They seem knocking heads now on this budget thing. Before I do, I want to ask you what you mean by this paragraph in this article, which I've got in my hand with you. What, you leaning against a light post? What is it? Oh, it's a street marker, Wauchula. Good picture. You in the front of the horse, ironically, in City Hall. And the headline says, Daniel Owens goodbye. He asked about Ocala, are we there yet?
Well, you see which end of the horse I'm on. So
Yes.
there was a there was strategery in that move right there.
But I want to say this. I want to read this one paragraph, and you can explain this. We may always wonder what our destination is and ask that simple childlike question, are we there yet? Maybe that is a question that will only be addressed around election time every year. So be it. Perhaps that is when real leaders emerge and missions are identified. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you got a great example going on with the sheriff's department right now, and let's not, there's an election next year. Now there's two seats up for county commission. We've got an election getting ready to come in the city of Ocala. I think you're probably going to have a few of them on here in the next few weeks.
Tom's got a schedule for sometime.
October
the 9th
15th.
October 9th.
October 9th, but October 15th is the city election. So, elections come around every year. There's election, but you got an election coming up next year. And what seems to always be, and I can tell you in the 12 years that I've been, and I don't mind saying it, everybody who has run for office will tell you, just let me get through this election and then I'll do some stuff. Mm-hmm. So what that tells me is the way what you're really wanting to do as a county commissioner and as an elected official is different from what you have to tell the people. And I think that's pathetic. All right. I mean, I'm 12 years in, and I mean, I've run I'm a great I'm a great civics lesson, and whether I know the city elections are a lot smaller scale, and I know the counties, and anybody who'll tell you, well, you don't understand, it's county's a big deal. It's a big county, it's a big county. I get that. But at the same time, let people know who you are and what you're going to stand for and what you're going to vote for. You know, I never at any time, buddy, did I ever run for office that I go into a room and try to speak just to the room. What I spoke to is I want to introduce you and tell you who I am, and this is what I'm about, and here we go. And this is what my vision is. And if you elect me, this is what you're going to see. I remember my first year, 2001, and they said, if you get elected, what are you going to do about growth management in the city of Ocala? And I said, absolutely nothing. And that was my answer. Everybody says, well, don't you think we got a growth problem? I said, absolutely not. The city of Ocala is getting smaller. We were 30% of the population in 1990. The census comes out in 2000. All of a sudden, we're 18% of the population. I said, somebody explain to me how that's growth. We're going backwards. The only thing I'm going to do about growth is make sure we get some. And I said, so I will never, ever vote against economic development. And I sit here 12 years after the fact, and I've voted for every economic development incentive that's ever come down the pipe. And so when I said that statement of the vision and what we have for Marion County, what you see at election time is far different than what I think we need. And we're getting ready, you're seeing it with the sheriff's battle right now. You know, the sheriff is saying we need a little bit more money. I can tell you that over the last lot of years, that the sheriff's department had a philosophy that they were going to make sure they invested in the people and the deputies and everybody that worked for the sheriff's department. And so some things got put on, I want to say on the shelf or on the side, cars and equipment, and I think that's been Sheriff Blair's big thing is just some of this equipment. Some of these cars are running around that not only are endangering the lives of some of the deputies, they just, well, we were on the way to our 911 call, and we blew a rod in the transmission, and the transmission's laying in the ditch somewhere on 314, so we got to send another backup kind of deal.
200,000 miles on those cars got on.
Yeah, and so that type of thing. And so what Sheriff Blair is sitting there going, listen, we can keep maintaining these people. We can have all this big payroll that we've got in people, but what good is a deputy if he's on a horse, right, having to go answer calls in Fort McCoy? I mean, we've got to get out there and do some of these things. And so that's where you come through an election time, and I can promise you that you're seeing the jockeying going on at the county commission level. Nobody wants to touch that tax word, and nobody wants to raise it because that's the overwhelming philosophy, because we got to keep government in check. We got to keep it in check. We got to keep it in check. Well, I know. Let's keep it in check. Let's get rid of 100 deputies, and that way we won't need the $8 million for the extra cars. Let's just do that. Let's go ahead and cut back. And so at some point, somebody's going to step up, and we're going to start have this dialogue in this county. And I truly, truly believe that people get it. I do think that they're, I have faith in the people of Marion County. I have faith just people understand common sense and what it is we can do and how we can push forward and get some of those things. So that's that as I said there in that you're asking me that thing, I just think that you see unfortunately in Marion County you see two different things. People will say anything to get elected, and then after that then I can let me get in and then I'll do some things. But the problem with that is then there's another election cycle starts, and then you got other people that got to start. So we're always in this flux of let's just get through an election. At some point, maybe we'll get a county commission that sort of swings for the fences a little bit for about 2-3 years and really get some things done. So
interesting breaking story on this as we talk. On Ocala.com, Blair Bryant agreed to last-minute budget deal. It says hours before the Marion County Commission and Sheriff Chris Blair were scheduled to square off in a final battle over the sheriff's budget, the two sides hammered out an agreement that keeps Blair's budget flat from this year to next. Commission Chairwoman Kathy Bryant met with Blair Thursday morning. He agreed to drop his request for additional funding. Bryant and Blair confirmed that agreement during a brief meeting of the County Commission this afternoon. You surprised?
Not really.
It had to come to some kind of
not really. There's going to be, but again, there'll be some concessions made probably on each side. But we'll see where it goes. Ultimately, I know this. Let's hope that we don't have a story breaking on Ocala.com to where we have something happen to a citizen in an emergency situation to where we simply couldn't get there.
Absolutely. Final question for Daniel. Get you out of here. Kevin Shealy on this program about a month ago said Ocala 489, the park, is already too small. You believe that?
Yes. And it's a great, great, great problem. I have found that at most ribbon cuttings, whatever you're ribbon cutting, you're obsolete the minute you cut, like a road or a park like that. Because it wasn't just like we've got this park. We went ahead. It's like landing the Daytona 500. FedEx And so the pull that FedEx is going to have, that place will be built out, I would say, by 2020, which is not very long in infrastructure time and building time and business time.
That fast?
I think you'll see probably 75% occupancy in that park by 2020 with the help again Kevin Shealy. God bless him. He's as sharp as a tack. He's such a great guy that's come from Kentucky and to come down here. I mean, we'll try to convert him and change his ways over for cheering for the Wildcats. We'll let him.
No, the Cardinals.
Well, we'll let him and God deal with that.
Yeah,
but for the meantime, we'll take his talents on economic.
He's a Louisville guy, yeah, for sure.
Susie Heinbachel, who's running, God bless, she's got that.
She's a Wildcat.
She's a Wildcat. But yeah, it's a great thing because and that's the type of things we're talking about. We sit here, let's embrace who we are. Let's be excited who we are. Let's think about, we just talked about all of these cars running up and down. A year from now, 18 months from now, when all of these cars are running up and down, they're going to look over and they're going to see what FedEx. That's like looking at, people just know when you see Coca-Cola. You just know when you see a Chick-fil-A sign, right? You just know when you're going to see FedEx, and it's going to be like, man, this place, let's pull off. And that's why we've been working on our interchanges, 2740 and 200, from a beautification standpoint. And when people do pull off, that they, the birds, zippity-doo-dah, right? Zippity. I mean, the birds are chirping, the skies are blue, and the flowers are blooming.
And they get to Silver Springs and get in.
And they get to Silver Springs and go on. So that's, we got a great place here. And so hopefully we can keep it moving. And we hope that our political philosophies, buddy, do not encircle us to where we are ineffective because we're worried about the competition and we're worried about what's going on in somebody else's backyard. We miss what's happening here.
The answer to the rhetorical question by City Councilman Daniel Owen, are we there yet? No, but we're on our way, aren't we?
We are on our way, and it's an exciting thing. So we'll look forward to a ribbon cutting out there in the coming months of FedEx and seeing people go to work and driving to work and driving through this great community and being a part of this place we call Ocala, Marion County.
Appreciate it very much. And, I want to say this on behalf of other people. First of all, and appreciate the time and your insights. But a lot of people would love to see you consider in the future political office again because right or wrong, agree or disagree, we know where you're coming from, and that's all we can ask from our people. So I hope one day you'll reconsider going back into public service again.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy, and we'll have to get back. I had a lady the other day say, I saw your article on things. She says, I want to tell you that picture, and we were talking about it. She says, it's funny how they put a horse and a horse's ass all in the same picture.
Daniel, no on the straw. Thanks, Daniel. Take a break, come back, finish up with our, we got to do the rest of our Man in the Mall stuff coming up next right here on the Voice of Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Recently, I had a great conversation with General Manager Pat Murray on the special events at Country Club of Ocala.
We have a lot of special events here that are geared towards the family. Easter comes to mind. We have an Easter bunny who hops around on the driving range. We usually hide somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 eggs and turn them loose and let them go harvest the eggs. We have a great family celebration here on the 4th of July where it's a traditional cookout, if you will. And as the sun goes down, the driving range becomes alive with probably one of the better fireworks displays in the area. Breakfast with Santa is a big deal.
Country Club of Ocala, where the Easter Bunny, Santa, and all the children, large and small, are a big deal on every special occasion. For more information, call 352-237-6644. That's 352-237-6644. Country Club of Ocala, proud sponsor of the Monday Gator Report right here on The Source.
This week, be sure to follow the Florida State Seminoles as they take on the Boston College Eagles. Saturday afternoon at 3:30 right here on WOCA, The Source.
Tom James, it's Friday night again. Time for the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, brought to you by the McDonald Agency. Two teams going in two different directions.
0-4 Westport looking for a strong defense to match against double-tough 3-1 Leesburg.
That's right, Tom James. Looks like a game on paper that Leesburg should win easily.
We'll see. Friday night, 7 o'clock pregame, 7:30 kickoff.
Right here on the Marion County Friday Night High School Game of the Week, presented by the McDonald Allstate Agency.
WOCA, The Source.
This is Austin Tavern reminding you to stay in contact with us at WOCA. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Voice of Ocala. Make sure to become a friend of our Facebook page and call us at 622-9622.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
So what did you do with your weekend? Me? I was flying.
because I'm taking flying lessons from Ocala Aviation. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, hey, I'd like to give that a shot, but I'm not quite sure. Well, I've got the solution. It's called the Discovery Flight, and that's exactly what it is. It helps you discover the wonder of flying and if it's for you. It's only $99, and it gives you the chance to learn a bit more about the airplane and then actually go for a ride with a flight instructor and take control of the airplane. That's how I got started, and now I'm on my way to being a pilot. I know, scary thought, right? But the demand for qualified pilots is stronger than ever, and with the help of Ocala Aviation, you could make a career change and learn to be a commercial pilot. But it all starts with a Discovery Flight. So stop by the flight school, conveniently located at the Ocala Airport, visit the website at ocalaaviation.com, or call 861-7484. That's 861-7484. Ocala Aviation. Your adventure starts here.
Don't get caught in the dark. Call Tri-County Generators, LLC first at 1-800-622-1957, your authorized Generac dealer. Tri-County Generators are there when you need them with new generators for home standby, commercial, RV, and portable generators. They also service your existing systems. Now is the time to act. Be prepared before you have an emergency. Call Mike Gant today at 1-800-622-1957. That's 1-800-622-1957 for Tri-County Generators.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
If you get a migraine, try to hug your family more often or your pets. The chemical oxytocin, which is released when we hug a loved one, it can cut the intensity of a migraine headache in half. Today, a lot of people think that flirting via text message is as bad as cheating in real life. Comedies may get us laughing and help us forget our pain for a few minutes, but sad songs and movies actually help us get over the pain much quicker.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
If you listen carefully now, you will hear that's a natural mystery.
All right, it's good. 4 tunes. JJ's on a roll. Let's go right into Man and Mall Part 2, and we'll go to finish up with tweets and quotes. Austin's Statman Tatman out yesterday about doing a poll. Tom asked for this to be done. Can you name America's first 5 presidents? And of course, we talked about this a lot this weekend. We admitted we all struggle, except for Tom, who's a history major, to come up with more than 1 or 2. We certainly know the first 2 or maybe 3, but after that, it's tough. And you think, well, how tough is it? Well, I think we discussed this yesterday. Out of 20 people Austin talked to, 2 people got it right. And 13 of 20 could only name Washington. 7 of 20 gave no effort whatsoever, and only 3 out of 20 could name Washington and Adams, of course, and Jefferson being the third. Other answers were Lincoln, Franklin, Grant, Jackson, Roosevelt, whatever. Missed that one quite a bit. This is interesting. Can you tell me how many people are on the Supreme Court? Is that it? Or is that
right? Can you tell me how many Supreme Court justices there
are? Not to be confused with the Supremes, which is a singing group. Anyway.
Austin doesn't get that.
Answers, I know.
He didn't know who Robin Williams was.
It's a generation, I know. Well, it's okay, he's young. He's young. You give him a break. Answers were 18, 12, 4, 15, 50, 20, 7, and 6. 50. Tom, how many were there?
What now? There were 9. 9 Supreme Court justices.
Okay. Let me catch you off guard. Okay. Now, this is one that's really disturbing. From whom did America gain its independence? I'm just going to take a shot here and say that there's a pretty good idea. If you ever saw Redcoats, you might have an idea who they were. But I would think that probably 18 out of 20 would get it right. What'd you say, JJ? 8 out of...
I would think it would be at least 15 out of 20.
I mean, I'd say 1 or 2 people maybe to miss it. Maybe they were born in another country. I don't know.
Yeah.
But 11 out of 20 could say England.
Awful.
And
absolutely awful.
2 said France.
They helped us out.
Yes, they did. And answers were 7 had no idea, and of course, I think we know by now it was England. So
some people said China and Japan, buddy.
There you go.
One guy said when I asked a question, he said me.
I saw that. Yeah, me. Let's roll as a Gator fan. Let's roll with our tweets and quotes real fast. Let's get these babies done real fast. If I can find them here on my screen as we get to the music. Number 1, forgiveness is about realizing that anger and resentment don't serve you well. Melissa Fabergé. Number 2, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned. Francis of Assisi, who would have been 832 years old today, by the way.
And finally, this is a malaprop I gleaned from somebody else's Twitter account. Have you ever heard the old saying, any blind squirrel can get a nut?
Yes.
No, it's not that way. It's even a blind squirrel finds an acorn. That's the real one. This is a little different. This is not the correct saying. Any blind squirrel can find a nut. Sorry, malaprop. Just thought I'd throw it in there. I love malaprops, by the way. That'll wrap up this hour of the program. We got Around the Water Cooler. Tom James on his way in as we speak. I hear the sirens in the background. We got a lot to talk about. Stay tuned for Buddy Sports Page.
1370 AM, 96.3 FM, streaming live at WOCA.com. The Source.
Requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price fixed rate allowance.
Yahoo! Kids are back in school and report cards are right around the corner. I've got old cars shaking in their boots because I'm flunking clunkers and junkers this month.
Hey, Professor Chris Spears from Prestige Auto Sales. What's a smart plan to keep you from flunking out in a car that can't make the grade?
This week, trade in and save more. Get the appraised value of your old car plus up to $4,500 off a nicer, newer car.
Stuck in bad credit detention? Our For the People credit approval process wants to help everyone, even if you've been turned down before.
I vow that no car will be left behind.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales today.
Yes, during our old car report card event, you'll get up to $4,500 off a nicer, newer car, plus the appraised value of your old car. But hurry, my old car report card event ends September 30th, or after we've helped 67 students pass the test in a nicer, newer car. My name is Chris Spears, and I'm a dealer for the people.
Visit Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala or Bellevue, or call 694-1234. See you at Prestige.
Hi, it's Lisa Midget with Kinetic Motion Fitness. I'm looking forward to a fun, healthy summer, and I have a few ideas that might just help you and your friends stay in shape and have fun too. Along with awesome personal training and group classes at our warm and inviting fitness studio, we also offer fitness classes at your home or business. And if you're tired of the same old, boring cake and punch party, why not let us host a hot new health trend, a fitness party at your home or office? If you're having a hard time getting to the gym this summer, because of your crazy schedule, then work out with your friends or coworkers in a private group fitness class, or host a fitness party at your home or office. We will bring you and your friends or coworkers one of our great workouts like Zumba, Pilates, Body Bar, Yoga, Tai Chi Boot Camp, or Zumba Tomics for kids. We can even help you reach your long-term goals by meeting at your place weekly for an on-location workout. Check out our website at kmfocala.com and like us on Facebook. Kinetic Motion Fitness is located just 5 minutes from downtown Ocala near the Skylark Plaza. Kinetic Motion Fitness. We're ready when you are.
Your home for Florida State football all season long. WOCA, The Source.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again that time of year to vote for Ocala Magazine's Best of the Best. Each year, you have the power to go online and vote for your favorite chef, restaurant, hotel, and of course, your favorite radio show. So go online to ocalamagazine.com and vote for Larry and Robin in the morning on WOCA, The Source.
Jacob, you forgot the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
Ah, yes, of course. Then also vote for the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin.
No, Jacob, they can't vote for both.
Well, that does present a problem. How do they decide?
I don't really care, just as long as they vote.
Are you always like this?
Like what?
So charming and friendly.
Oh, then yes, I am. Now wrap it up already.
Okay then, to recap, go to ocalamagazine.com and vote for anyone you want, as long as it's Larry and Robin in the morning or the voice of Ocala with Buddy Martin on WOCA, The Source. How was that?
It'll do.
Legally Yours, brought to you by Fuller & Fuller Attorneys at Law. On the air every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. with John Fuller, a board-certified civil trial lawyer for over 25 years. John welcomes your questions, from business to complex family matters to legal disputes. So tune in every Wednesday morning at 10:30 a.m. for Legally Yours with John Fuller, right here on WOCA 1370 AM and 96.3 FM, The Source.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing,
Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
WOCA, Ocala. You're listening